You're listening to Chugging Bleach, the only podcast where the bounds count.
Welcome to Chugging Bleach, the only Bleach review podcast on the GigaBoots podcast network. I'm your host, Bob Video Games. With me, as usual, are Anime Danime.
Do you think Ichigo would drink Mountain Dew Code Red?
Yes. Chris Wolfhart. And Dr. Aggro.
I'm so full.
Oh, wow. Something filled him up.
Today we reviewed episodes 130 through 134. Sure was something.
Yup.
It's cabbage mostly.
It was all the same calories, but none of the nutrients.
It sure is Bleach shaped.
Yup. Man, one of these episodes sure was good.
Really?
Before we get into that, Chris, how can you get early access to this episode? I don't know and I'm scared.
Well, to alleviate your fear, you can go to our Patreon at patreon.com/gbpodcast. For as little as $5 a month, you get access to many benefits such as early access to this. In fact, if you're listening to this show right now on YouTube, there should be another episode waiting on the Patreon, you greedy little patron. Also, early access to Pokemon Goes to the Movies, our Pokemon movie review podcast, as well as many other benefits, and a patron-exclusive show one a month where you get to vote on what good or bad thing we have to watch and then talk about. If you give us money, you're literally holding a gun to our head and forcing us to watch whatever good or bad thing that you vote on. That's patreon.com/gbpodcast. And if you want to support us but don't have any money, just telling people we exist helps immensely. The internet is infinitely dense. Having any kind of guidepost is massively helpful.
Thank you, Chris. Now let's talk about these episodes.
It sure was 120 minutes.
I'm really fucking happy about these episodes. Not because they're good. They're not. They're all fucking terrible. But.
Uh-huh.
Now Aggro has any context at all for the Bount arc, because the first two episodes of this set are the Bount arc.
Before we dive into the recap, Bob brought up an interesting point that I think we need to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 130 starts with recap shit. Which one is worse, recap or a filler conversation?
Filler conversation, always.
So every time you see a recap, you should really be thinking, thank God.
I'd rather hear about how Bleach, the whole universe of Bleach, than a filler conversation, absolutely.
Soul
because you know you can skip that with no consequences whatsoever. And they might someday potentially put something that mattered even a little bit in one of those conversations.
I don't know. The way the first episode opens with a recap and then goes into the same shit again, I started to think, did I already watch this episode? How much of this is recap? How many episodes is this one episode storyline going to cover?
Well, they changed things slightly when they do the recap. For example, they showed, Shota in front of the swing where his sister was originally, and then in this recap, it was Jinkaria. He was on the swing.
Subtle differences.
He was like, sorry, kid.
Using his shitty wind powers to swing himself higher and higher.
He's like, push me.
It just looks straight into the camera and says, to go over the top. That's my plan.
I'm really gonna need somebody to start up the Jinkaria Everywhere project where you just put him into random shots of any anime.
Oh, good. Okay, so there's one specific thing I need, and I mentioned this to Bob days ago because it popped in my head. I'm like, yes, if we can get here as a fandom, I will feel like my job on this planet is done. Can you edit Jinkaria into press conferences? Like press events for athletes, E3 events, CES?
I would love to do things like this, but I would need to be provided with clean, high-res images of Jinkaria because I'm going to try to maintain the purity of my body and spirit by not watching the Bount arc.
That's fucking fair. But let's get through these fucking episodes. We open where the last episode left off with Rangiku and Shota finding his sister Yui at the park. I left her. We get a flashback of them being dead and wandering around. The replicating Iran car confronts them and Shota runs away and leaves her. He cries some and Rangiku just kind of fucking stands there because she has no experience having to be concerned with anybody but herself.
She's like, why is your face so wet?
Yeah, pretty much like, did I, the Captain Hitsugaya, I broke it. It's leaking.
Then throw it away.
He explains that the Arn car attacked her and he ran away and then he came back and threw rocks at it. We sure are 8 fucking minutes into this episode.
Yep.
Rangiku offers limp emotional support because she sucks. She gets a call from Hitsugaya who explains that he found it but then lost it somehow. Then he gets attacked by it and they try to sell the idea he's in danger at all, but he's a fucking captain. Come on now.
Also, this is where he starts calling it a mock Aran car.
Yeah, this is the first time they call it that, and here's my theory. Kubo called.
Yeah.
Maybe they only mean maybe it's like because they figured out these are all clone bodies, so maybe like, well, it's not real, so it's mock.
See, that's the thing. I'm pretty sure later they specifically phrase it as the mock Aran car can generate more bodies. So I'm not sure that they're referring to the copies exclusively as mock Aran car. I'm holding the fan theory of Kubo called, which actually kind of ties into something I think in the 4th episode that we watched. Or maybe it was the 3rd. We'll get there.
There's a thing later that makes me think that wasn't the case, but we'll get to it. The Arn car can disguise itself, something that was transparently obvious in the last episode. Hitsugaya cuts its arm off and it turns back into a human and runs away like laughably fast.
Yeah,
it's like Scooby-Doo.
That's the funny thing. It literally looks sped up in video and I'm like, man, this was kind of rough. And then we cut to an outside of a house, and this is the first time I've seen this in all of the Bleach we watched. They freeze framed a still image of an encoded video of the outside of this house. So it's just a frozen image with JPEG noise all over it. And I'm like, this is the worst Bleach has ever looked. But that's because I hadn't seen, the next episode, right?
Yeah.
It's so tired this week.
Yeah. Once Hitsugaya almost literally looks at the camera and says, "This is a filler arc, and the ability every Bleach character has to sense spiritual pressure would render this entire fucking plot irrelevant, so I can no longer sense energy."
Yep.
Yumi Chika shows up to check on them, and then they all go back to Orihime's house. She's still fucking gone. She's still banished from her own home.
Yeah, she's visiting in the Soul Society. We will not show that.
Ikaku's out patrolling, they say. Rangiku says she figured something out, and we enter the meandering filler conversation dimension where she elaborates that she didn't actually figure anything out. She lied. She just said that so she could reiterate shit we all already knew.
She's like, I just wanted to appear smart.
It's at this point where I started to feel like I had died while watching this episode and had slipped into an ironic customized hell.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is probably the punishment for your phone photoshops.
Now, Aggro, imagine that this scene was 45 episodes long, and that's the bound arc.
That is the bound arc. No, totally. The whole, they can't sense its spiritual energy, so they get these things that can sense the bounce, but they can't sense the bounce either. It's just the most we've been trained on this.
You know how this is a horrible filler arc that lasts like 4 episodes?
Multiply that by 11.
Not even that. This is what Naruto filler is. This is worse than the Bount arc because it's a new awful tiny arc every 4 episodes.
Fuck.
This is worse than the Bount arc.
I guess it being shorter does mean that you can't, like, the Bount arc was shaped like a shonen arc. You had a group of villains. They paired off and fought people. They had lots and lots of plans. There was a strongest one that the main character fought. I could see how having 11 small arcs that don't matter would be more demoralizing.
Yep.
But the point of this scene is they're like, let's just fucking try and console this girl. and it doesn't work. And instead of this being the end of this fucking filler arc, everybody acts like a fucking idiot. The guy's like, so we gotta send the energy readings to Soul Society. They'll tell us something. Until then, she's gonna sit in a barrier. And then we cut to like the Arn car sitting in like the void, and he's like, "I'll do something soon, I promise."
Just you wait. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna do a thing, and you're all owned.
Not yet, though.
I'm just gonna sit here and talk about how great it's gonna be. That's what I'm doing right now, and what I will continue to do.
Shota watches Yui sleeping in gay baby jail and flashes back to the flashback from earlier in this fucking episode.
Yes.
Yeah, that was dire.
She wakes up and is in like creepy little girl mode and is like, I want to go outside. And he's like, but there's a barrier. And she's like, but if we put our hands together on the other side of the barrier, it goes away. Oh, Yui, how'd you do that? It's a secret. Oh, Rangi-kun hits the guy, find the room empty, and then get the report for the 4-year-old watching. No, she actually is an Arrancar clone. Blah, 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 blah. Filler conversation. The Arrancar wants to eat Shota because these kids specifically are like special and have a lot of spiritual pressure, I guess.
Yeah, there was multiple layers of this. There's the part where it's like, Hitsugaya, I will now explain to the both of you what's up. And he's like, Rangi-kun, you leave. That way I can have this conversation privately about what the deal with this thing is while you're going. Then there's the explanation of like, God, there's the sentence. I'm trying to remember the exact sentence, Bob, but it's Yui had a lot of spiritual energy, so obviously Shota does too.
Yes, there's that. There was also Yui had so much spiritual energy that eating her turned him into an Arrancar.
Yeah, that's how that works.
Yui leads Shota to the park, and Rangiku shows up and tries to stop them, but Yui crackles with energy and summons a bunch of the fucking clones, and everybody's like, "We gotta get there!" And then Yui uses the flute magic to start making Shota walk towards her, and Rangiku's trying to get to him, killing the Hollows, and Yui manages to fight against the Arrancar, which doesn't really make sense with what they explained how this works.
It
but fucking whatever.
No fucking sense.
And then she screams and the episode ends, "The Arrancar Encyclopedia." Gin explains that the Arrancar are numbered in order of their birth, but the strongest are numbered 1 to 10. They're called the Espada, and their numbers are secret. And then he tries to reveal Ulquiorra's, but Ulquiorra stops him. He's like, but you said it was a secret.
I really enjoy the next time on a lot more than that segment where it's like, Akon, Madarame ordered molars and I forgot to give it to him. Just give him an empty box and tell him that they're molars that are only invisible to morons.
Episode 131. Yui is exploding with energy as Rangiku kills a bunch of guys. She releases and sends her mist sword behind her and hits the real Arrancar. He actually kind of looks like an Arrancar, unlike the others, which just looked like hollows. Yui pushes Soda and is like, you gotta run away. You gotta run away. And he's like, no, I'll protect you this time. And she's like, it's fucking too late. He already ate me. Fuck off. And then she goes ape shit. And again, and the Arrancar's like, I never expected her to have the will to defy me. And then turns her into a clone hollow and reabsorbs all the clones to power up, I guess?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess he can do that.
Didn't fucking Cell do this?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that Cell like reabsorbed the Cell Juniors once Gohan started eviscerating them.
Yeah.
He's like, oh shit, this is for real.
Yeah, I think that's right, yeah.
Soda has a breakdown over this, and the Arrancar tries to get him. Rangiku intercepts and uses Hado number 4, Byakurai, and blows a hole in him. And she's like, I'm a lieutenant, and you're like a scrub, so you're explicitly a copy of a character from earlier in this arc who died in 15 frames. He's like, no, it's me who's gonna own you. And then he attacks her, and Rangiku effortlessly blocks the attack. And then she turns into a car and is like, don't you know who I am? It's really nice they devoted a 4-episode filler arc to a copy of a guy so irrelevant Ishin killed him instantly.
Yeah.
They start fighting, and he's getting owned, and the only obstacle is coming from the fact that this is a filler where you can't sense energy.
Mm-hmm.
And he cuts her arm, and that seemingly was a critical weak point where she loses all her fucking stagger points and falls out of the sky. And hits a guy who shows up and is like, "Sir, I'm a captain," and just fucking wipes the field. The Arnkar like has a breakdown and starts seething and crying when he finds out a captain is here.
Yeah.
I was really hoping he was just dead.
Well, it's not the end of the episode yet, Bob. I'm sorry. Hits a guy and says that he probably became an Arnkar because he got all that spiritual pressure from eating that girl. That doesn't make any sense, but it sure fucking does in this arc, I guess. The Arnkar pisses and cries and is like, "If you kill me, the girl will die too." And hits a guy and says, "Okay," and moves in to kill him.
We've explained how this works over and over.
Shota gets between them because of course he does. The Arnkar disappears and basically says, "I'm gonna hide and throw clones everywhere." He summons like a Dynasty Warriors amount of the clones.
It looks so bad.
It looks so bad. You can I think that's the first spoiled image, so you can unspoil that if you want.
There it is.
I was like, I'm gonna need to rip this Blu-ray to get a perfect quality GIF of these dumb assholes running through the sky. It looks so terrible.
Then Ikaku and Yumichika spawn in. I know it's Flash Step, but it looked especially like they just spawned in.
Yeah, I think this is the exact moment that all of the money for this arc has run out completely. I think every shot going forward is the worst we've seen in Bleach.
Yeah.
We still have a couple episodes until the worst we've ever seen in Bleach. The Arnkar then says his spawn rate and is like, "I can make 16 clones a day." And I'm like, that doesn't seem very insurmountable. Do you mean that you increase by like an order of 16 magnitudes a day? Like each one can duplicate 16 times a day? Or are you just trying to make this unimpressive thing sound really scary?
I can lift 10 weights a day.
Yeah, it also is like, how long he's been doing this? Because there are a lot of clones. How did they not notice that the town was being eaten?
And he's like, "I'm gonna eat all the humans next." And they all leave, and then Ikaku and Yumichika are like, both of us are too competent and direct for this plot where you have to care about the stupid feelings of a child. We're just gonna go play Dynasty Warriors, and then they leave to go do that. Hits a guy who calls R&D and is like, "Can you give us one of those special filler trackers?" And they're like, "No." "Oh wait, actually yes."
No, that would be fucking oh wait, here it is.
The Arnkar makes the sound, and the clones are like speakers for the sound. Fucking technobabble, it doesn't matter. Rangiku explains what hollows are to Shota so they can fucking save time. Oh, fill time, I'm sorry. And then she says, "We can still save Yui's soul. We'll do it together." And then we get a shot of Yumichika and Ikaku having fun playing Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah, explicitly Rangiku lying to Shota, or forgot to read how the show works.
Yeah, I was like, this doesn't break canon as long as we all believe Rankiku's just fucking lying through her teeth.
The clones attack Urahara's shop, and Renji like smacks at them with a broom a little bit before transforming to actually fight them.
Yeah, Renji had some real like, "Mom, it's that weird cat again" energy.
Yes, he did. And then we see his mod soul, which is like a lazy cat who has Hirako's teeth.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Guess I won't have to do my work, nya." And then and Renji's like, "No, you still fucking have to." Rangiku and Hitsugaya are running towards this fucking whatever, and Rangiku's carrying Shota, and the R&D Soul Reaper, Rin, who has almost the exact same voice as Shota, and it's really confusing me in this episode, gives technobabble about how they're tracking it. He isn't hiding in Hueco Mundo, he's hiding in a barrier somewhere, and the only way to break the barrier is to just power up really high next to it,
like shoot it or something. I don't know.
And they name drop Gentai Kaijo because we have to rehash shit we just did. There's the flower petals on his fucking Bankai fading as he just screams and shoots a big power beam into the sky to like a fucking Marvel movie to try and get rid of this fucking barrier that we can't even see. It's entirely like planar. so you can't even we don't even get something visually interesting. This makes no sense. We're just doing random bullshit.
And the best part of this is in the moment leading up to this, the literal prior scene, they are pushing the limits of what you can do with the 480i anime in post to make it take longer. Because they're not freeze framing, they're freeze fielding. Meaning the video's breaking into interlaced footage even on the Blu-ray because they slowed it down in post so that way they could talk more while running to the river, which in Japanese they said was on the east side, and in the dub, I guess they just shut off their fucking brains and they said west. And no one's face looks right at all.
No.
Yeah, it's really rough.
It's not working, and then it starts to work, and the Arn car's smoked out. And he uses his release, and this motherfucker's name is Dentist.
Yeah, Dentist without the second T. It's just Dentist. I was like, really? That's what we're... Because the T... All right.
He turns into like a big lobster monster and fights a little bit with Hitsugaya, and he's like, you're drained of energy, I can win. And then Hitsugaya eviscerates him instantly. He cuts off his like lobster tail and knocks him on the fucking ground and freezes him, and he's pissing and crying and shitting his pants. And Rangiku and Shota team up and stab him in the face, with Shota also holding onto her sword, and he fucking explodes into Kingdom Hearts sparkles, and all the souls he ate are freed, and all the clones despawn. And that sure was a fight that involved the whole fucking town, and no actual main character was involved at all.
Hey, quick question. Maybe I'm fucking insane and substitute my own rules in for the rules of Bleach, the anime I thought I was watching. When you kill a thing like this, the souls don't just get released, right?
I think actually they do, because the whole point is that the reason that the conflict with the Quincy's is because if a Quincy nukes a hollow, the souls are like removed.
I thought that it was always explained as when they kill a hollow, that hollow's soul is put back into the cycle, but the ones that the hollows eat are removed from the cycle, a lot like the Quincy's do.
See, that's what I thought too.
I don't know. Well, in this arc, it doesn't matter, because Rangiku says, oh, Yui is fine, it could be reborn. And then they stare at each other for a second, and he gets consoed.
Every single shot in this final action scene is like,
it's terrible.
Worse than the last.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah.
To the point where it's like, I think Rangiku and Shota are working together, but it could be anyone.
Yeah.
I think this, in my opinion, is the worst animated because it's trying to look like normal ass Bleach, and no one's face looks right at all. We get another good next time on bit where they say, we're going to show you our daily lives. And then the other one goes, sounds like you're still slacking. And it goes, it's okay. We got permission from Kubo.
Yes, that is actually very good. It's like, who's that?
Next time on Bleach, we won't be doing this fucking story arc anymore.
Thank you. I do need you to say that.
I will take anything else.
Now it's time for the illustrated guide to Soul Reapers. Golden.
Was this one golden? The next one's golden.
It was golden.
No.
It was golden.
I feel so defeated.
I'm cocking the gun. You motherfuckers better say it.
Golden.
The Vizards are eating Korean barbecue for dinner. Ichigo's like, now's not the time to eat Korean barbecue. The town's in danger. And Hiyori's like, it's the perfect time since I'm fucking hungry. And Ichigo tries to leave, and Hiraku's like, no, it's already over, bro. You missed the whole arc. He's like, what? And Hiraku's like, man, you can't send spiritual energy for shit, even when you're not in filler. Episode 132. There's no recap. Hooray! It opens on Karn, so this might be a Karakura Superheroes episode. Not hooray!
Oh, God. No.
Well, thankfully it wasn't that.
She flashes back on a bunch of footage of Ichigo since he's still missing. She kicks her soccer ball in like the storage bag, and the bag breaks and it rolls down a hill and towards an open road. Hitsugaya catches it and stares at it like he doesn't know what a fucking ball is. You can click the second spoilered image now of him pondering his fucking orb.
Like that shot, I legitimately thought, oh fuck, he's here for Yusuke Urameshi and he's following this trail of clues.
He tells her to be careful and gives it back, and I'm like, please don't let this be an episode about her thirsting for him. Then we cut to her and her unbelievably NPC core friends finding that middle schoolers are hogging the soccer field. They're like, it's our time on the field. And the middle schoolers act like middle schoolers, which is disgusting subhumans.
Jeez.
I don't know. They're the one who reserved.
Listen.
Oh wait, no, that's the elementary kids.
Yeah.
The elementary kids reserved it. The middle schoolers were like, you don't. Here, look, a middle school is the age when a human being has the capacity for great cruelty, the most cruelty they'll ever be able to dish out, but do not have the restraint to know when to deploy it. Karin goes down there and gets in their face, and her friends are all like pathetic little, like, they're sissies basically, and they're like, and then they're not helping at all, but she's basically screaming in the fucking middle schoolers' faces. They argue for several hours because it goes from midday to sunset while they're yelling at each other.
They just chose the golden hour to yell.
It took this long to get to, we'll play for the field. It's like every single thing set up like this in human history.
Mm-hmm.
The middle schoolers say when they lose, they're going to make the kids eat grass off the field, but that's only in the dub. In the sub, they say, we're going to make you eat spaghetti through your noses.
Yeah, which is a thing I'm only familiar with because Excel Saga made a similar joke.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess it's some Japanese thing.
Ugh. I mean, it's possible.
Yeah.
They're going to play a week from today. Karin's loser friends are all whining and crying. One of them is Vic doing a really pathetic voice.
Yep,
Yes.
I noticed frame one. I was like, there he is, playing the piece of shit again. What did they mean by this casting?
It's weird how it's every single anime casting for 15 years.
Yeah, it's just doing the Edward Elric voice directly.
It's so funny.
They're like, we can get Ichigo to help. He's a Giga Chad. And Karin flashes back again. He's like, he's on a trip. And they're like, no. Karin says she'll find another ringer. And then they find Hitsugaya looking at his phone. And Karin runs off to talk to him. And I'm like, is the team on her shirt, does it say Dopes?
One of her friends is wearing a shirt that says like Red Dopes or something in a number. And that shirt's actually available on like Etsy or something. Like, are you fucking serious?
That's really funny.
Is it every shirt in Bleach?
Probably. People are crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Karin tries to talk to him and she asks him where he goes to school and he gets fucking pissed at being reminded he looks 12. Karin is seemingly as dense as Ichigo because Hitsugaya's aggression like curves around her fucking skull like light curving around a black hole and just doesn't affect her at all. She's like, you want to play with us? And the kids shit themselves because he has silver hair and they say he looks like a delinquent. There's like, he's pretty short for a delinquent, so he gets fucking pissed and leaves.
There we go. Doped Davis 002. I get some of the other Bleach shirts I've seen, but this one, really?
Man, this is bullshit. Where can I buy fucking Jinkaria's terrible two-tone shirt?
I know,
will.
right?
You have to sew it together yourself. I'm sorry.
It's the only way to be authentic to how that shirt probably looked in real life.
The shirt Jinkaria may have worn.
What was his shirt?
Sewing together your own clothes. I'm going to become the rodeo clown.
Karin tests him by kicking the soccer ball at him, and he does like a backflip kick to return it and murders her friend.
Yeah, it's like the NES soccer game where you hit both buttons at the same time and it makes you flip upside down and kick it and it does a power strike. It's so good.
Everybody's really impressed and crowd around him, and now he's the older guy who is only popular with children. I'd kill myself. Hitsugaya gets a hollow alert and kind of notices that Karin can sense hollows, but leaves to take care of it. He's like, I can't help. I'm not going to help you at all. I'm not going to play soccer with you. But then they yell where they're going to practice as he leaves. We cut to a crowded playground where they're trying to practice, but they can't really because there's people. Everybody's kind of moping. Karin says she's going to go look for him. She's just running back to the exact same spot because this is a filler episode, so there can only be 3 locations per episode.
Yes.
Look, it's a really good spot, obviously. This is the only place Ichigai ever goes.
Well, it's the only place in town you can see the sky.
It's the perfect spot to view the sky, and then you hear that Karekano music kick in, that light piano.
She runs out to him calling and is all out of breath, and he's just completely ignoring her and looking at his phone. She's like, why didn't you come? He's like, I'm busy. And she's like, what does a grade schooler have to do? And he gets mad again. They have a conversation about why he always comes here, and he's like, this is where you can see the sky. And then he has a flashback to him and Momo, who is currently in a mental institution because Aizen shattered her mind.
What a way to be reminded of that current state of that character.
Yep.
You just kind of expected to turn to him in the flashback and be like, "You're not going to hurt Aizen, right?"
Then he acts all brooding and mysterious, but that only intrigues Karn because she's in elementary school. She's still at the age where a girl thinks there's hidden depths to someone who's brooding and mysterious, and not that they're just fucking stupid.
Hitsugai is that perfect tween heartthrob asshole.
He tries to run on another hollow alarm, but she grabs his wrist and is like, "No, I feel something bad that way. Don't go that way." And he notices, but then he's like, well, somebody else defeated the hollow, so fucking whatever. Then the scene just kind of ends. It doesn't have like a conclusion. It just kind of stops. It's just like, it's like, well, realistically, he should ask her if she can see hollows now, right? But then the scene just stops because that's not supposed to happen till later.
Right, exactly. It's like, oh, well, we'll do that in like 5 minutes. Don't worry about it.
Kids are practicing. Hitsugaya watches from a roof. Rangiku shows up and asks him why he's stalking children.
Yes.
Fair.
And then she starts being like, "Oh, you have an elementary school crush, ha 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 ha," and he just leaves. He's like, "Fuck you, woman."
She's like kind of way too into it.
Yes, it's game day. Hitsugaya didn't show up. All of Karin's loser friends cope as they huddle. The game starts and they immediately cripple Karin because they knew they couldn't defeat a child. They found an adult to be referee, but he didn't seem to step in when they literally take a tire iron to this girl's knee. I guess he literally has no face and is like the most NPC you can get.
He's on the payroll of big middle school.
We should have known.
Karin can't play effectively and they start getting washed. Hitsugaya shows up and is like, I didn't come to play. And then he notices that she's hurt and swaps in.
But not with her. Not with her, which really bugged me.
You injured are worth more than 3 of these guys. You're staying on the field.
Yeah.
Did you see that guy's doped Davis shirt? There's no way there's anything going on upstairs with him.
He's the ringer and clowns on the middle schoolers and executes their goalie by like driving him through the net with the ball. They play like a violin cover of Ichigo's theme number 1.
Fucking weird. That's so fucking weird.
I'm wondering if this is going to be Karin's theme, if that's going to come back.
Oh,
that'd be funny. Hitsugaya flosses on everybody and sets Karin up for the winning goal. After they win, he tries to talk to her about seeing hollows, but a fucking Minos crawls out of a hole in the sky. He's like, "You guys need to run," and she's like, "I won't run without my friends," and uses her like super powered soccer ball she uses in the fucking Karakura superheroes shit. But this is like a real hollow and not a jobber, so it just kind of bounces off. It tries to smash her and Hitsugaya just effortlessly butchers it. And in the process of butchering it, makes it hail? Because it starts hailing.
Ice
powers. But it didn't fucking hail in the last fucking
ice powers.
Stupid mini arc.
Ice powers.
Look, they want to do something neat in this. They didn't want to do that for a second in that mini arc.
Karin is super impressed, and she's like, "You're just like my brother. You must know where Ichigo is, right?" And Hitsugai's like, "Oh, that makes sense. I can't help you, though."
I don't know where he is. We are very bad at communication.
Like, I'm sorry. I don't know where your brother is. Many worlds are in much more danger than I think you realize.
Rangiku shows up and they talk a little bit, and then Karin calls him a grade schooler and everybody laughs. The end. There's a new ED, but we'll get to that. Illustrated Guide to Soul Reapers.
Golden.
I thought we had to wait till he said it.
No, just golden. Just fucking say it.
Fucking golden. God damn it. Can I get like a list of these rules?
No.
No.
I feel like I'm playing Mao.
Just like with
We're
the
playing
Bount
Calvin
lore.
Ball here.
You will learn as you go. Or die.
The visors are eating okonomiyaki. Ichigo's moping. Hiraku's like, what's wrong with you now? He's like, "I wanted to eat rice." Hiyori says, I also made rice. Ichigo's like,
"You're eating
that's
both?"
too carb heavy, but none of them care.
Yeah.
They are already dead.
That's so starch heavy. That can't be good for you. And they all yell, "It's healthy!"
Does okonomiyaki have that much starch? I feel like it's mostly cabbage, which is pretty fibrous.
Yeah,
It's also a pancake.
Yeah, I guess.
it's still funny to just be like, what if rice went with this? I just need more.
Episode 133. This episode was key animated by Kazunori Mizuno. They only keyframed 5 Bleach episodes.
Ooh.
And this is seemingly the one where no one was supervising.
Well, it's the best episode we've got in a while.
It is.
The splash screen is Ikaku's Joker face, which is the next spoilered image.
Yes.
It's so good. He's looking at those pizza rolls. He's like, they're almost done.
Just staring into a microwave saying, do I really look like a guy with a plan?
Yeah, that's basically the theme of this episode.
No recap because I guess because this is just not random nonsense.
Yeah.
They don't need to do the Soul Reapers.
Yeah, this is arcless behavior.
We open on the Kendo Club of the school. Mizuho, Keigo's sister, is the fucking student body president of this school. Holy shit.
Yes, as it should be. Student council president, strongest under the sun.
Everybody's beaten up because I guess an opposing Kendo club got one of their freshmen and held them hostage and beat up everybody.
They get jumped and they're like, we got jumped by them. And then it cuts to the flashback and they say their name. And she's like, it's not getting jumped if they introduce themselves.
Yeah, because the Kendo club also have their weapons. It's not like
We were ambushed. Like, no, we had the fake swords of peace and they brought the fake swords of war.
we didn't lose a fight. There was way more of them than us. They had like dogs. They ambushed us. We were all sleeping. They say they have to bow out of the competition next month because they're all hurt. And Keigo's like, no, we're going to get revenge. I'm going to arrange a training match between schools so we can get revenge. The art in this scene is really fucking bad. Click on the next spoilered image.
It is immaculate.
It is perfectly, insanely off model. It's not even trying. It starts edging into Beavis and Butthead, which, yeah, the next image you posted is literally the one I was thinking of as I said that. It's so hideous.
They're like, we're all hurt, you dumb broad. How are we going to get revenge? And she's like, the untrained freshmen can still fight. They try to complain, and she just shakes the shit out of them. Ikaku and Yumachika are drugged in by Keigo to help with the training. Mizuho gushes about Ikaku in this outfit, and he makes a couple of really horrible-looking faces. Those are the next 2 spoilered images.
Yes, it's perfect. That is what I'm like. He's just turning into Beavis. You're seeing it transform in real time.
Keigo warns him that his sister is a horrible leech, only concerned with herself, and she hits him so hard he breaks a window with his face and gets sliced to ribbons.
I know, what the hell?
Mizuho is like, Ikaku, you gotta help these loser freshmen turn into real men. And Ikaku is bizarrely motivated to help them for some reason.
Hell yes, he is.
What's this sort of competition you're doing? Violence? I like violence.
Yumachika is like, I'm not obligated to do any of this. I'm gonna leave. And then he does.
Somehow
Beautiful.
equally based.
The freshmen are eager to learn, and Ikaku basically says, I'm gonna torture you.
Cue Major Pain music.
So he has them do pulling carts full of giant rocks that he got from somewhere, doing squat hops up a giant staircase, hanging from their feet swinging swords, and kneeling with pickling stones on their legs, which I think is a form of torture.
Every one of these shots has the brother Keigo just like, this seems really dangerous. This can't be right.
Yeah, Keigo's like, this is insane. And Mihu's like, well, he won't kill them, so it's fine. All the students are basically walking corpses, but Ikaku says it's time to move on to the real training, him hitting them. He tells Shinji, who is the loser kid who got held hostage, who I guess is the fucking main character of this episode, who fucking cares. I'm just going to keep hitting you until you hit me. He's like, but that's impossible. But then they do it.
Learn to sword fight!
You need to take advantage of my openings. Don't come straight at me. You don't have any openings.
Well, we're gonna keep doing this till you find one.
That's really good. He's best worst teacher.
Everybody's too brutalized to train. Ikaku hurt them worse than the initial hurt people.
That is great.
I really thought this arc was going to be some Full Metal Panic Fumofu shit. But he just broke them all.
It's like, oh yeah, this was less like training and more like literal torture.
Right.
This just checks out, yeah.
Have bodies.
Oops.
They can't do the match, and Mizuho has a tantrum and then a breakdown. And Ikaku's like, "Don't worry, I'll call in a bunch of ringers, and we get some of those." Keigo points out the obvious and gets yelled at and gets scared moments. And then he's like, "Do any of you losers actually want to compete?" And Shinji's like, "Yes, sir. I'm the main character of this episode, so I do." Ikaku tries to get some ringers, but he can only find Rangiku and Yu Machika, both of whom refuse and then laugh at him for having no friends.
Yes.
They're both snobs who don't want to wear the sweaty kendo gear and run, and then Ikaku has like stink lines radiating off him.
No, that's fair. That is a perfectly valid reason to not want to participate. Just smelling that bad.
Every time kendo comes up in anime, somebody mentions how bad the gear smells.
Yeah.
This has got to be a materials problem.
Yes, 100%. Materials
Probably,
and
yes.
maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can't, because I assume the armor's attached, so you probably can't wash it in a machine, so they probably never get washed.
Yeah.
Keigo, Ikaku, and Shinji are moping at sunset. Keigo's like, "Well, we have 24 hours to make friends we can take advantage of." Shinji mopes that it's all his fault, and then Ikaku gives a speech that men should get stronger instead of just running away. You leave the other spots to me. And Keigo says, you have the capacity to make new friends? And Ikaku just gets mad. The next day, we're at the kendo competition. Ikaku convinced Hitsugaya to help, by which I mean he lied to him and then keeps trying to bribe him with things a child would like.
It works.
It does.
It's like, he bribed you and you bought it. Look, you're already in the suit. And he's like, he made me wear the suit before he told me what was up.
Shinji shows up and is like, "Thank goodness my younger brother's gear fit Hitsugaya." And we get a wonderful drawing of Hitsugaya as an elementary school student.
Yes.
Then a really great image of Ikaku imagining it. And then a really great image of Hitsugaya saying he's going to rip Ikaku's spine out. Those are the next 3 images. You can click them.
This is the funniest episode of Bleach.
Right. Like he's imagined in the cartoon dimension and then overcorrects into production IG.
Yes.
Then Renji shows up while also complaining. Urahara made him come. And we get a shot of him being weird, and that takes 20 seconds of him eating a sucker.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Flashback is like horror genre, where he's just like,
Oh yeah, the
you
next
should
2
go.
images are Urahara and Chad looking horrifying.
Yeah, who the fuck
so
drew
good.
this and why?
It's so good.
It's really funny that he could be bribed with candies when he's a candy shop owner.
I know.
Well, Ikaku spent a lot of money on it, he said, because Chad didn't come because he doesn't take bribes, and Ikaku screams because he spent a bunch of money on it.
He's a real man.
They need one more person still. Rangiku says no again, and Ikaku's like, "Keigo, you'll do. It's fine if you lose, because only 3 of us need to win." They set up Shinji second to last. Ikaku's like, "It doesn't matter if you win, but you should still try to win." Hitsugaya goes up first and summons a field of reeds like a samurai movie and wins. And then Keigo does his epic crab walk strategy and gets smacked and loses. And Renji also wins.
Hooray.
And then a hollow shows up and they all have to leave.
All of them.
All of them.
Every one
They're
of them.
all, every one of them is so far much stronger than any normal hollow, but they all have to leave. They all mod Candy up, and we see the fucking freaks they all have as mod souls.
I know. Rangiku's is the worst
Oh
out of
my
all of them.
God.
Yeah, Rangiku's, as we saw in that horrible filler arc, is just super into men.
I'm like, is this self-referential parody, or is this just awful?
It's worth noting, I think all of these personalities are actually shit Kubo came up with. He just drew them as single panels, like at the end of chapters in a volume, and like the page between chapters, how they'll do like a little doodle. I think all of these are from that. There's like, this is this person's mod soul. This is this person's mod soul.
She's like, this arena's full of so many men. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure they're children. I'm pretty sure a decent number of them aren't.
For now.
Oh, no.
Keigo can tell this is happening. He's like, oh, what? Transforming? What the fuck's going on? Shinji's round is up. He fights the guy as all the Soul Reapers mulch the Minnows. Ikaku almost literally says, wow, that was easy. Why did all of us come? Oh, wait, shit. And then rushes to go back.
Yeah.
Keigo encourages Shinji to lose, and Mizuho kicks him in the face. The NPC taunts Shinji for fuck sucking so bad and getting everyone hurt, and then Shinji summons the Reed Dimension and owns him. They win. Ikaku's mad he doesn't get to fight. He hits the referee. He says he's going to kill the other team's captain, should come forward and die. Mizuho points him out, and he's like, he dumped me, kill him! Keigo's like, this was all so you could get revenge on your ex? And then Ikaku smacks his the guy has a toupee?
Yeah, so he's bald, just like him.
And then he brutalizes the entire other team while Mizuho is like, yeah, get him.
And
That's
I'm like,
the end.
I'm like, Kubo gave the sign off on this seemingly. Does that mean she's just into bald guys?
I assume.
Is that canon?
This is what great filler looks like.
Yes, actually, I cannot. There is no comparing the 5-episode filler arc we just left to this.
Yeah, this is much, much better. I wish it wasn't so unbelievably hideous at points.
I love how hideous it is.
So good.
I think it's really neat. They set up the whole thing of like making you think that Ikaku is actually building up Shinji's confidence and everything and wants him to succeed. And then immediately revealed, no, he just wanted to fight. All of that was just a misdirect.
I think Ikaku genuinely did, because he has that line about, it's been so long since I've seen it. The look on the face of people desperate to get stronger. I think he was into it. And then he saw
he got also bored. An idiot.
Yeah, he's an idiot.
He also just didn't know the rules. All right.
He's just out here chasing cars.
Squad 11 really is just a place where they put all those people.
Illustrated Guide to Soul Reapers, then let's begin.
Not golden.
Not golden. Yachiru and Nemu are watching footage of all the soul candies. Yachiru is in a funny chair. You can click the last spoilered image.
So good. We need to get a chair like that for Tosh.
It's like a Frieza chair or something.
Yes. I assume that's Mayuri's chair and she's just in it.
Probably.
Yachiru says they're going to make a lot of money from these soul candies, and says, good job, substitute vice chairwoman, is what she says to Nemu. Because I guess they're selling these on behalf of the Shinigami Women's Associations, the Soul Reapers Woman Association.
Yes.
Behalf. Nanao, who is stuck still in the library with Ukitake and Captain Kyoraku, is like upset wherever she is. She like sensed it. It's like, I'm being replaced, and then an arrow points at her that says vice chairwoman.
I love this explanation for why all of those mod souls are awful.
Absolute freaks. What was it? Hitsugaga? Was it Hitsugaga? That's like, oh, I'm gonna lie down, meow.
Yes. Hitsugaya is lethargic. Rangiku's is man crazy. I forget what Ikaku's is.
I think his was incredibly like tame. He's just like, oh, I'm just gonna
it's like incredibly
here.
Tame. Renji's is like a shitty cat. Yumichika's is a violent thug.
God, they're absolute freaks. But yeah, no, this was a really good tying off of like, why were they such freaks? Well, here's why. They're a new experimental special soul candy.
Yeah. Episode 134. We open on Mayuri being ordered by Yamamoto to find a way to track the Aran car, because that's every fucking filler thing. Figure out how to sense the things we should be able to sense, and also find a way to simplify Gintai Kaijo, which that doesn't make any sense. They don't. It's not like It's not like the will of the universe. It's something they do to limit collateral damage.
Yeah, when they wanted to turn it off, it was like a button.
We need a more efficient way to authorize it. And these kids are like, oh, we need to do something with Gentai Kaijo, that thing that's totally real. Remember that? It's real. It's part of the universe and the lore. We promise.
It's also like, what, you need to fix how this is handled bureaucratic, like paperwork wise. Nothing else. What's that have to do in the human world?
We cut to an R&D meeting where Mayuri says he has to send somebody to the human world, where the implication is very obviously, I don't want to go. Nimue also can't go. She needs to hang around me and fucking listen to my whims. Rin, who I was stunned to find out is a guy.
Right?
Yeah.
Rin says he'll go, and Akon, the horned guy, is like, well, normally you just want to hang around and eat candy and not do your fucking job. Well, I guess you can go. We'll have to give you a babysitter from Squad 4, though. Also, here's Ikaku's new teeth. Take them. Give them to him. He shows up at the gate to the human world with a huge bag and pockets full of candy.
It's so good.
He just wanted to come so he could eat human world sweets.
I love this character.
Her babysitter shows up and it's Hanataro, and then she falls over, and then they both fall over. I wrote she in the notes because they didn't confirm it was a guy until later. And
it was funny because I was trying to make sure I wrote down their name correctly, and one of the top Google returns was gender. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
So everyone, okay, got it.
They both fall over, womp womp, comedy beat. They cut to Urahara's shop. Nobody's there, so Hanataro starts looking, and Rin starts goobering out over the sweets. Tessai teleports behind them. It's like, what are you doing?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Spike Spencer.
Yeah, I know. I know, right? Hanataro was like, oh, I'm Spider Spencer, and I'm here to apologize. Please don't kill me because of this guy who's probably going to loot you.
They cut to the back of the shop. One of the mod souls brings a plate of, they look like rice crackers, but I guess they're cookies because Rin just starts inhaling them. Which would make more sense with them being cookies.
I agree. I also thought they were rice crackers, but it's like he's inhaling them, and he's all about sweets. So I don't know. Probably cookies. You're probably right.
Hanataro explains why they're here, and Urahara's like, I don't have to do anything, right? They're like, no. Like, okay, cool. We flash back to real content, and that this isn't how fucking Gentai Kaijo works. Stop talking about it like it is.
I have a quick question here. Does other anime filler literally have the same energy here with, that's not how that works at all. Please stop saying that. So ceaselessly?
I mean, I remember that even in Dragon Ball filler, so I'm pretty sure it's just something that happens.
That's so funny.
Urahara's like, Yumachika, you take them to where Yami and Ulquiorra landed. Yumachika's like, why the fuck do I have to work? And Urahara goes, Hitsugaya ratted you out for being lazy, so you gotta. They go to the crater and everybody kind of stands around like, this is sure a hole. Rin has like a nightmare data sensor shaped like a flesh blob.
Yeah, fucking polygraph from Hellraiser.
It's got
I guess it's,
yeah.
I guess it's the same tech as the demon OLED from Orihime's house.
Yes, the demon OLED.
I mean, it's Mayuri. Of course, everything's really creepy and awful.
In fact, that's what most of the research and development probably goes into. Not making it function, making it look like that.
They're like, okay, we're going to go somewhere else. And they're like, Yumachika's pissed because they have to walk because Hanataro can't flash step. And I'm like, I don't think Rin would be able to flash step either. So I think your ass is just walking. They lose Rin during a cut and he goes into a bakery to buy a cake. Hanataro's like, how could they see you without a Giga eye? He goes, oh, I brought something for that. It's a horrible flesh monster that shoots you with a beam that lets people see you.
Shapes and somber tapestries.
A chef that's a bound soul walks out. He's like, oh, you can see me? And Yumachika says, oh, this is bad. You're all bound up. The Hollow's gonna get you. I'm sending you to the hellhole right now. And like moves in to console him. And the chef's like, wait, I'm not ready. Yumachika's like, eat shit. I'm gonna do it right fucking now.
Hell
then
yeah.
Rin and Hanataro tackle him like, no, we gotta do the filler. No.
And they're like, what if he actually has something important to say? I'm like, okay, that sounds reasonable.
They travel to a fucking river. There's even a line about how this doesn't make sense. It's like, man, that chain goes really far.
Yeah,
Right?
It's great. I like seeing the chain just go off screen.
Like, why did... it's an anime. He has to tell this story on the riverbank at sunset.
He said that he got hit on by a car somewhere away from the bakery. So
it was right outside the bakery, he said.
Okay.
Yeah, no, there's no reason for this.
Yumachika's like, what's your fucking story? Let's go. Let's get this fucking over with. The baker's name is Haida. He got hit by a car. He was training to bake cakes. Yumachika's like, I don't fucking care. Can I send you to the shithole now? And then Rin gets mad that Yumachika's being dismissive of cakes. And he's like, I want my mom to make sure I'm okay. And I'm like, you're not, you're dead.
Right?
You're the opposite of okay. Basically, his mother's a wreck and is losing weight, and he wants her to try one of his cakes before he moves on. Okay, there's our dumb conceit.
At which point, Yumichika should have just consoed him by that fucking river.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. We need an episode.
Rin wants to let it happen. Yumichika groans. They end up at Urahara's shop. Urahara's like, oh, you can use my kitchen. This is the first time it's appeared on camera.
It's very nice.
Rin and Hanataro poke around, and Tessay's like, don't fucking break anything. Urahara's like, you guys can do whatever, and then makes fun of Yumichika because Yumichika has put on like the chef's outfit and is just being an insufferable narcissist in a mirror. And he does this for like 30 fucking seconds. Everybody's cooking. Hanataro and Rin and Yumichika are all useless and fucking up in different ways, but they make the cake. And they're like, well, we got to test the cake to make sure it's good before we make a second cake and give it to my mom. But none of them know what cake is since Soul Society doesn't have cake.
I feel like this is going to be contradicted at some point.
Oh, 100%.
It might have already been contradicted by one of the Illustrated Guide to Soul Reapers, like having cake at the women's meeting party.
Yeah, you're probably right. I just have to watch the Bound arc again.
Also, Rin bought a cake earlier.
Well, Rin knows what cake is because he's sweet obsessed.
Well, that was their first cake, so he doesn't have a good judgment of it yet. Like, this is just his second cake.
They're like, well, we got to find somebody who knows what cake is. And then Ururu is right there. And I thought the joke would be her wanting to eat the cake. But no, we cut to reused footage of Chad and Renji training in the basement to fill time. Then Ururu runs up with the cake and is like, you guys got to try this cake to find for us good. And Chad goes, okay. And Renji goes, I'm a stupid dipshit who knows everything about the living world, so I'm an expert on cakes. They eat it and I guess don't like it because Ururu has a horrified reaction shot. We don't see their reaction. We just see hers.
Yeah, we're missing a cut.
Yeah.
We just hard cut to them making the cake again as Haida like turns into Gordon Ramsay and starts riding their asses. Like, you fucking donkeys. They make it a bunch more times. It sucks every single time to the extent Chad and Renji start hiding when Ururu brings down a giant fucking platter of different cakes.
It's really good. I like the concept that the cake went so poorly or he's so fucking sick of it that he would rather have the shit beaten out of him by Renji. Chad's like, no, please. No more.
They have to get more ingredients. Haida is sad that his mother keeps leaving flowers where he died. Hanataro and Rin are like, we'll do it for sure for you, filler character. And then we get the success montage and everybody's happy. Yumichika, Hanataro, and Rin try to give her the cake, but she won't take the cake because she has cake trauma now. She's like, I can't even look at a cake since my son who makes cakes dies. The cake gets dropped and Haida starts going ape shit, which summons a Minos. Yumichika goes to fight the Minos.
Yeah, we only have
and
Minos
deflects.
now.
Yeah, normal hollows would be instantly defeated, so they have to have something to have any sort of tension at all. Yumichika deflects at Saros, but then has to flash step in front of the Saros to block it because he deflected it towards the cake. And he tells his mod soul, guard the cake. Haida's still going ape shit and starts to turn into a hollow and wraps his mom in the chain and knocks her down. He's trying to rip out his chain to become a hollow. Hanataro pulls out his sword and hits the chain to heal it, as we learned in a Illustrated Guide to Soul Reapers earlier, which also maxes out his fucking TF2 overcharge gauge, and it turns into the scalpel, which he can use to reflect the damage onto the Minos, which stuns it so Yumichika can finish it off. I think Hanataro should have been allowed to kill it.
Yeah.
No, never. He can't even get this small W.
Hanataro calmed down, and the soul projector Rin had turns on to activate so his mom can see it. And she fucking eats the fucking cake, and everybody's happy, and he's happy, and we're all happy. This woman now knows the afterlife exists. She now knows what is beyond death.
Right? How many fundamental laws have been broken?
Which feels like a pretty critical violation of the masquerade. But luckily, this is in fake content that doesn't matter. Illustrated Guide to Soul Reapers, Golden. Rin's back. He got good data. He broke Ikaku's teeth, so he does a callback to the earlier next time segment and wrote a note that says, "Idiots can't see these teeth," and put it in the empty bag.
I love Ikaku. Just wow, you actually did that.
and then we see Ikaku seemingly falling for it because he just looks perplexed.
It's like he read a note that says only cucks read this note. He just sat there trying to figure out his next move.
It's great.
That's it.
We made it.
We made it.
Thank you so much, Chris. We got through. This is the part we would normally review the new ending, but I've decided we will review these endings and openings after they're over. Because then I feel like we'll get enough time to absorb them and see how we feel at the end of the whole situation. If we still feel good about the opening or the ending.
So you're saying we're going to review the endings when they end and the opens when they end?
Yes.
I see.
I hated every moment of that sentence.
That is intentional.
So not doing that this time. We get to move on to the best segment. Obviously, best wrestler award. This is slim pickings this episode.
Boy, is it.
All right. I'll let Chris lead.
Oh God, a Karn's friend that has the Dope Davis shirt because it's right in front of me.
It's pretty dope.
Dan?
I'm going to say Urahara because he's actually, you know what? He's a guy in the schoolboy outfit. It looks incredible.
Yes.
He's passing perfectly for an elementary kid. He also is drooling from his nose, I think.
Dr. Echo?
Yumi Chika, he was not wrong. He is straight fucking killing it in that chef's outfit.
That is true. He's just like, God, I'm sexy.
Why am I so good in this?
It's too good. I guess that leaves me.
Good luck.
I'm gonna choose Karin. I think her regular outfit was a good design. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
It was the baseball shirt over a shirt. It works.
Real quick, before we leave this episode entirely, I want to just throw this out here. The cooking episode followed a sports team anime arc way more than the soccer episode did, because the soccer episode just became, we substitute some suckier player out because our main character got hurt. Meanwhile, cooking episode, it was about teamwork. It was about persevering. It was about doing it for their teammate who was sad.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, Dan. On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you to continue watching Bleach?
I mean, they transformed what my expectations of Bleach filler is by the end of this. So I feel, I don't know, pretty inspired for next time. I'm gonna say 7.
Great. Yeah.
Maybe the filler will be over next time.
Or if it's here, it can at least look like people are becoming Beavis and Butthead or hideous. Maybe they start looking like Aeon Flux again.
Anything is possible.
God, I don't need Rangiku or Orihime to look like they're from Aeon Flux.
God, that is how Chad looks in that shot.
Yes.
Okay, we had a lot of different plots this time. Do you think any of them were Jin Karya's plan?
No. Pretty confident on this one.
Egro?
No, much of this existed outside of the view of God or Jinkaria.
Chris?
Jin Karya's plan was for that one kid to get beaten up, so yes, it was his plan.
wait, a lot of kids got beaten up.
That's true.
In this,
the Kendo Shinji, the Kendo kid.
Oh,
Okay. How sadistic.
Let's see. I have to answer this now. Yeah, I think that first arc, that thing with Shota, that was his plan.
Oh, devious bastard.
I know, right?
Here, I thought you were going to say, like, the cooking episode was his plan because he really liked baking shows.
He loved cakes.
As you all know, Jinkaria loves cakes.
Chris, did you bring me any crazy trivia this week?
No.
Okay, that's fair.
Wait, I think it's a trick.
Dun.
let's-
Oh, okay.
Oh, all right.
The trivia was actually the earlier part where I looked up the key animator for that episode. I'm like, why does this look this way? Oh, he did nothing. He did the Bount episode where the guy with the whale guy looked all messed up.
Oh my god,
Nice.
of course.
This guy's a champion, apparently.
He's drawn the most memorable faces in Bleach that don't belong in Bleach.
All right, with all that out of the way, it's time to move on to our patented tightness scale. That's 0 to 25, and lets us choose how tight this was. Dan, how tight were these episodes?
Bob, I don't get to choose how tight these episodes were for clarification.
That's true. I guess you get to...
I get to tell people how tight they were. I'm merely the meter. I do not drive the car. Jinkaria drives the car.
We can't get him out of there.
It's in his name. You should have known the whole time. Karia. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and give this a 12. It's better than last time, I feel, because of how funny the filler is. It sucks that we're still in filler. But if we can get not 2 of the 5 episodes to be some of the shittiest making the Bount arc look good moments in Bleach, that would be great.
I'll go next. I'm going to give it a 15. I feel like those last 3 episodes of filler I actually enjoyed. Like, it's the kind of filler I like. One of them was really good with the Kendo team, but the other 2 were okay and had their moments. It's really just brought down by those first 2 episodes that were the show to nightmare.
Do you think either of these, any of these goofy filler episodes would qualify as Bleach's Cheese Boiga moment? Like the Naruto filler?
Oh, yeah, these are better than those.
Yeah.
Because those have the one-off episodes all the time, and they're horrible. You want to die to leave. Dr. Aggro?
I am a huge fan of club animes. I love Kendo club animes. That soccer episode was nothing. The cake episode was stupid.
Oh.
And the mock Arankar arc, I had a flashback when Chris started describing it. My brain went, oh God, we're back. It's happening again. 4.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Fair. Chris?
Yeah, 12 sounds about right. I'd honestly like these goofy filler episodes more if they didn't have the seemingly legally required hollow fight at the end. Just no, just let it be about something stupid.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. They don't need that.
It's like when Team Rocket shows up to ruin a really interesting episode of Pokemon.
Blasting up again. No one cares.
Get out.
Please don't let there be any more. I can handle a theoretically infinite amount of these one-off episodes. No more mini arcs.
No
Stop
more mini arcs,
No.
please. That was so bad.
Yeah.
I
Could you imagine we lined this up so the entire episode was that mini arc?
yeah, because it was 5 episodes, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was 5 episodes. We could have had the entire thing that.
That would have been a 0.
Yeah, that
I would have given it.
Absolutely, that's a 0.
It would have been since the first time. It would have been the first time since the beginning of the Bount arc that I gave something a fucking 0.
Yeah, we would have hit the bottom.
It'd have been like, man, thank God the Bout Arc's over. Watches that. Oh, wow. No, I quit.
What made Dr. Aggro get out of podcasting? Shows Jinkaria. God.
All right, that's it. Everybody go home.
Oh. You gotta learn how to end these sometime.
No.
This month's GigaBoots videos were brought to you by the continued support of our executive producers, such as Esme, E. Lee Broyles, Star Falcon, Spaceman Spiff, Red Blaze 27, Brendan O'Sullivan, Burning Pepsi Man, Adam Admar, Cooper Tank, and Virmvarm. Thank you very much to our executive producers, and also these gamers. If you want to support GigaBoots so we can continue the content crunch, then head on over to patreon.com/GigaBoots today.